Hey, good morning, guys. This is Santosh Patil, and I am here in America for my official trip. And with my son's connect, I got connected with one of the family from India who is working in the US in IT, and they are doing farming here, which is I thought it's interesting to see. And today I came here to visit their farm. They are doing it like some permacultural practices in US. So let's understand where is this farm, and just got to introduce the family here. We have Sanmati and Sunil from Karnataka. So today we have fortunate to meet Sanmati here. So let me talk to Sanmati now. So hi Sanmati, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Can you please introduce you and your background, what we do here?
Okay, so I am from Karnataka originally, and I have been in the US for about 20 years now. But I worked in the IT area for a while in the tech industry. But I was interested in growing things, and so I ended up doing a permaculture class in 2020. And after that, we ended up buying about 3 acres of land outside of where we were working in San Jose in California. So this is about 100 miles from there, and we ended up buying this place where we can have some land to do stuff on. And I had to do some research because I'm first time doing this, so I had to plan about some things.
Yeah, what inspired you to do this kind of farming?
Oh, because I wanted to so basically I consider myself very fortunate in life, and I wanted to give back, and I found it easiest to give back by doing something for the land. And I wanted to take a piece of land and make it much better, leave it better than I found it. That is my thing. If I take up anything, I don't want to leave it worse than I found it. I want to make it slightly better. So I thought, I have time, and the time is now. I could wait till I retired, but I did not want to do that because, I might not be as strong. I might not, so many things. So I thought the time is now. So instead of thinking I'll retire, go to India and do something, or go somewhere and do something, I thought I'm here now, so let me do something here. And the thing we could afford was, outside about 100 miles away, where we could afford to buy something, or so it is not too far from where we are. So the distance, it takes about 1.5 hours to go, and I can come here in my holidays, weekends, and do things.
So you do weekend farming?
Yeah, and during holidays, when my children have holidays, I can stay here longer and do. So I basically wanted to be, I could not quit my job right now. So I had to do with part-time. So that's why we ended up coming here and buying here and trying to start something here.
So can we have some small tour of your farm? I think this is your farmhouse here.
Yeah.
I think this is a parking. That's great actually. So it was already built?
Yeah, the house was here.
Okay.
And we had to repair it. It was not in a great condition. Initially my plan was to not work on the house much, but just on the land. But the house was in a bad condition, so we had to fix it. Another reason for having a house is we can stay here and work on a weekend. We don't have to drive back. And we also have access to water and electricity, which I did not want to deal with as a first time person buying something here. I did not want to have to work with city, say please give us water line, please give us electricity line. I just have a farm. I did not want to worry about those things, so we ended up having a small house. Anyway, we were renting in the Bay Area, so we just bought a house here.
So can you just show like what kind of plants you have grown here? I mean,
so one of the things I was very concerned about was water. It gets very hot here in the summer, and we have very high temperatures, and we cannot afford to waste water. So
it's almost 100 Fahrenheit kind of a temperature?
100, we have many days with 100 plus degrees of temperature in Fahrenheit. So I wanted to save water, and one of the ideas I came up with that I saw on YouTube was to do bottom wicking. So in these containers I can fill water in the bottom, and the plants absorb the water. There is a weed barrier, and there is water in the bottom, and there is soil on top, so the crops can come on top. And also because of that, I'm not losing too much water from because of high heat. And also we have less bugs, less insects laying eggs and having larvae and so on.
So these are some like veggies you are growing on this.
Yeah, so I got potatoes, ginger, carrots, eggplants.
Celery. This is for all your home.
Yeah, we got tons of zucchini, tomatoes, and this was the first year I did this, so it was an experiment. So I planted sparingly. I did not make it like full crazy growth, but I did not have to buy many groceries for the entire summer.
Oh, great.
Most of the summer I did not buy tomatoes, zucchini, eggplants. I got cabbage. I did not buy carrots. So this summer was good. So for next summer I want to prepare these beds and do more planting, so that I'll have much more crops for next summer. But this was the first time, and it was an experiment, and all of these were from seeds. So I put seeds. I did not buy plants.
Okay.
So I just put seeds, and I still got a ton of crops. So I'm very happy. And these are my worm bins. I do vermiculture.
Can you open that, please? You have the worms here.
This is my compost tea water that I saved.
Okay.
So I'm going to use this when I put more plants and all this spring.
Okay.
So this is my worm bin. Wait,
I'll
show you. This is banana.
This is all compost tea, compost waste.
Yeah, I mean they are pretty bad to look at. You know how life is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have lots of all the stuff I grow in the house. All the vegetables and all we cook a lot at home. So all the food waste I save. I bring it in a paint bucket with a lid. I bring it from my home till here, and I put them here with cardboard, leaves, any brown. So I take kitchen waste, which is I considered green, and then I take the rest of it is all cardboard, newspaper, wood chips, anything. I put it all here. For these bins, I got these from a shop here. They are 20-gallon bins, which I get for less than $20 one bin.
Okay.
So then I made holes in them, so that the worms the extra water can leave.
Aeration also can.
So there's also holes in the bottom, and I don't buy worms. I just take a bin and I put it on the ground, and the worms come by themselves.
Oh, great.
So I never purchased any worms.
So you have a lot of worms here, like maybe your earthworms.
Yeah. The soil has worms, but here if I go in, there are lots of worms. Like right now, this was last week disturbed, but if you, there are lots of worms. I mean, it's crazy how many worms are there. In California, this place had nothing was growing here. I just came and kept my bins and started watering my bins, and that was the first thing I did. And the bins were like getting these frogs, and I was so happy when I realized they're native frogs, and they were just happy to be in there. They were not actually eating my worms. They were just having some nice moist area to be in. Then once we started planting more things, and we had wood chips.
So from where did you learn this kind of permaculture practices in farming?
These I just got from online YouTube. Then my class, I went to the permaculture class.
Where did you did that class?
I did it from Santa Cruz. It is a course with a person who teaches there called Dave. I'm forgetting his last name now. So he's connected with the University of Santa Cruz also, and he is a very good teacher. I did a 6-month course with him, and it's in person. So during lockdown I could go and do it in person, like outside. We used to sit outside under trees and learn. So it was a very nice learning experience.
So you don't have any farming background?
No, I don't have any farming background.
Oh, that's great actually. And you are doing it on your own. Your family though it's supporting. I can see you yourself doing it much than your son or your daughter, and I think your husband is supporting you.
I do more because I like it. It's like my interest. But the worm bins, I don't know. I think I had already started having worm bins before I went to the class. I was just saving my food waste and all in the backyard of my house, and I had made these holes because I thought the worms will like it not very wet, and the worms just came. So I already had done it. And so when I went to the permaculture class, I was happy to share my knowledge that I have very cheap worm bins, but they're doing wonderful. And now since 5-6 years, I have not thrown out any food waste. All my food from the house, any waste comes here. Okay. And it goes into the land. So it's all carbon. All that carbon has gone back to earth.
Oh, great!
And it is, it has made this land much better. Not just those, but also there is a feature in US called Chip Drop.
Oh.
So we can go on to that website and say we want wood chips from people who are cutting down trees and all that. And so they have to pay the government. They have to pay the city to dump it. So if we take it, they are happy because for them they save money.
So I see a lot of wood chips you have dumped here.
So you can see wood chips dumps in multiple places, and they also give us wood blocks like that. If I want, which I can use for making vegetable beds and my garden better. So they just came here and gave me all that for free. I don't have to pay for
some
this.
Tractor there. So you have your own tractor?
Purchased a tractor.
Oh, great! So who drives that?
That so far it's just 1 week old, so Sunil is driving it.
Great,
we purchased it just last week.
Yeah, that is required, I think.
Someone had told us that you're going to need a tractor, and we had laughed, saying we don't need a tractor. We are not that sort of farmers. But slowly we realized we need a tractor.
Actually, in the natural farming norm, you don't need machineries, but initially for some work, you may need...
because I have these blocks and wood chips, moving those wood chips far away to different parts of the 3 acres, it takes effort if you are doing by wheelbarrow. So now if you have a tractor, it's like slightly easier. And
so you get laborers here? I mean, how you are doing it?
We get people, yes, they come. I usually go find people on websites like Nextdoor. Nextdoor is a neighborhood website where you can find people nearby doing stuff. So I go there. I also sometimes, you see advertisements in shops and all of. So then when I meet some good people, I try to give them repeat jobs. So then we have a relationship. And so I have some 2 or 3 people who come often to help with any broken pipes, plumbing, removing the weeds or helping me put trees. So I do get help, and they come and they charge either per job or they charge hourly rate. So
great.
I pay them,
Yeah, so how do you find, from India coming here, doing a farming?
I thought it would be, for me, there was a big mental block in the beginning when I lived in Texas, and I thought I'm an outsider, I don't know anything here, I have to just put my head down and do my work, office work, and go home and not have bigger ambitions. But when I came to California and I especially went to the course, I went to the course without expectations of having a farm or anything. But when I went to the course, I realized there are a lot of people like me there, which I had not met in my tech world, who had this passion. And so when I met them, I thought, okay, this is doable. And in permaculture, there's a lot about doing it for less money, less effort. It's called the lazy way of farming. You don't have to put in too much effort into stuff. So because you're working with nature, if you have weeds, you let the weeds be and work with the weeds. You don't have to pull every weed out. You don't have to make everything super pretty and beautiful.
So your land should be covered all the time. That's the basic principle of the permaculture and the natural farming. So you don't have to pull out the weeds all the time. Yes. In fact, you use the weeds in the better way. Definitely initially you need to pull out, but then maybe you can use that weeds for the covering the land.
Correct.
That becomes your compost later. And it helps to improve the health of the soil.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's...
like I said, initially we did lot of chip drops. I just kept ordering chip drop trucks, and I got 11 trucks of chip drop, which we put in the land. Then we had a lot of cactus growing. We cut all that cactus and threw it in the land. And all that made the soil very rich, because that ended up becoming compost, and now we have so many earthworms everywhere. It's lovely, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I saw that there is a lot of worms in the
there's
soil
a lot
actually,
of
and
earthworms. Though
yeah.
we have grass,
Correct.
which still is biomass. You know, we can.
And you
still-
are doing this just 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, it's been now 3 years. I wish I had made much more progress than this,
Oh.
but it's
No,
3
you are
years
doing
now.
it great actually. I mean, without any much support,
So,
you are
yeah,
doing it
and-
as alone.
And so now my job is to kind of keep the weeds low and grow things so that the other things grow better than the weeds, and so then I have more useful crops growing than grass and weeds.
So how do you do the water management here, like for the
We
trees?
have only rain. We have only well water here, so that's why we install some ponds to collect rainwater. We collect all the rainwater from the roof. It goes
Okay.
into the ponds.
So you have done the rainwater harvesting.
Yeah.
All
when
the
we
water is
fixed the
collected in the.
house, yeah, when we repaired the house, we made sure all the if you see here, you can see that the
Yeah, water has been
tubes
collected
are
and from
connected
here.
and they all go into the pond.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, so we did that, and we collected the rain. We collect that rainwater, but we also have these ponds so that the rain. And then when they dug the ponds, they said, "What do we do with the soil?" I asked them to make the soils like swales and berms, so that when we don't waste the soil. The soil was still very good, so why throw it out? Go to the city and dump it. So we said, put it back here, but make berms. So you can see that there are these berms there, which is the soil that came from the ponds.
Okay.
So typically I try not to throw anything out. All the cactus that we cut down, which was tons of cactus, we put all the cactus back into our compost, and it's composting in various places right now. So things like that. We don't. The water is like from the well. It's from the ponds. The trees get water from the ponds, and we basically have a pump that pumps the water from the pond to the trees.
Okay.
And that is because the pond water is better for the trees than the well water, because the pond water is now like composty.
Yeah.
So we don't have to, there are frogs there, there are small snakes there are a lot of tadpoles, so that pond water is very nutritious and rich for trees. So we just send that water to the trees.
So I mean, India, like people, they have. I mean, the young generation basically, they are not interested to doing a farming. So, and you are actually a IT professional working in America for last 20 plus years, 25 years almost. You have this liking about the farming. What message you would like to give it to the youth in India about the farming and its future? And also, sorry, I mean maybe the practices what we follow, like permaculture and the natural farming.
Yeah. So I think one of the main things is we can see what's happening to the world with big corporations and consumerism. There's a lot of, we are always buying things, using things, throwing things. We are using tons of plastic in everything. So we can see what's happening. I don't have to go into that. So one of the things we need is really to give back to earth and fix earth. And the one way to heal earth is to work with her, not fight against her. We only by helping earth we can help ourselves, because we are connected to earth. We are not separate from earth. We cannot go anywhere else. So I think for me, permaculture or those principles, basically all principles of our ancestors and our elders, are very important, because we've forgotten those, and we shouldn't have, which was our first mistake. And if you are fortunate enough to give back, then we have to fix whatever we can. And as younger generation, I think you can say that the older generations messed it up, which is true, but also if you keep in mind that these things are important, and eventually lockdown taught us that we have family, community, all that is very important, health. So the lesson from lockdown shouldn't be forgotten, and the one way to fix things is by working with nature and bringing plants, animals back into our lives, so that then we have a harmonious existence.
Correct.
So one of the problems here, one of our neighbors was complaining, oh, you guys are digging all these ponds and we may get lots of mosquitoes. But the thing is, we have swallows, and those birds actually like to eat flying mosquitoes. They don't eat the larva or the thing. Of course there are tadpoles to eat all that, but the flying mosquitoes are their favorite. So we also have swallows which come here because of the water. So we actually have zero mosquitoes. Anyone would say, oh, we have ponds, which means we have mosquitoes. But actually we don't. They have mosquitoes. Though they don't have ponds, they have mosquitoes.
Correct.
And this is the problem with this thinking. You know, we think in one way. We don't open our eyes and look at a bigger perspective and think there's more ways to live. There's not just that one way of, you know, 8 to 9 and 8 to 5 and eat and watch TV and go to bed, eat, watch TV, go to bed, work, eat. I think we have to get away from that mentality and know that life is more than that.
Yeah, so you mentioned that our earlier generation messed up with the farming, and I think this basically came with the Green Revolution in 1960s, 70s. Yes. So chemical farming came into the practice.
And we thought they were great ideas.
Yes, so I think that's something people need to understand. It becomes a commercialization. They want to grow the lot of produce, but the quality and the poisonous, you know, due to the chemical fertilizers and the pesticides, the impact of that, it is dangerous for the human health. Mm-hmm. So I think we forgot our ancestors' agriculture practices about natural farming. I think we should you know, start practicing it slowly and adopt it and stop doing the chemical farming. So what's your thought on that?
I think so too. I think that we were very there was a time in all our lives that we thought, oh, technology, oh, look, machines, oh, people are so smart, they've invented all these things, science has gone so far, science is amazing, which it is, but we were so impressed and enamored by the inventions, the gadgets. We were like, wow, these days we can feed like millions of people by doing such farming. We did all that, right? But we have to pause and think every time something new comes along that doing too much of one thing is bad. Doing too much of anything is bad, even a great thing. You know, like doing too much of exercise. Exercise is good for us, but if we exercise a lot, we will die sooner. So there should be a balance in life, and I think that is what we have to learn as humans, and that is what nature is. If nature is in balance, it's happy. If things are out of balance, then nature is not happy. We were just talking about how Santosh and I were just talking about like a forest with a lot of trees and no sunlight. We have to prune some trees so that the sunlight comes in, so that the understory can take root. So too much of anything is not good. So we were impressed with technology, we were impressed with industrial development, but we did too much of that. Now it's time to come back into balance and say, okay, we did a lot of it and that's hurting us. Now we need to kind of come back into the middle, somewhere where we do have technology, we do have everything, but we are not over exploiting earth, over consuming, over using, over harvesting, overtaking. We should learn that there has to be a balance, otherwise it will not work out.
That's great. Very happy to visit your farm. So guys, this was Samati from Karnataka, and now we are just logging off from this place. Thank you very much. Thanks for your support.